investing in the stock market?
Yes.
So you have stock market accounts?
Yes. I have COL and Sun Life.
Wow, so you have 3? Do you know how much that would be in the future?
It will be more than 50 million.
Wow.
Come to It's Time Stock Market and we will teach you everything. Hey there.
I'm JJ.
I'm JM.
I'm Jack. I'm Jake.
And I'm Jamie.
And welcome to It's Time Wow!
Wisdom on Wednesdays.
Your weekly dose of wisdom.
So every Wednesday, we will invite wisdom-filled individuals to share with us their expertise, competence, and experience that will help us gain more success, knowledge, and wisdom.
So get your fill of wisdom every Wednesday. It's time. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for giving me my own travel fund. You should give your kids their own travel funds too. It's time!
Join us every Tuesday and Thursday at 5:30 p.m. via Zoom in
Matter of factly,
with Ray.
and Joey.
Canada Geese, God bless you. Congratulations. This is a great, what do you call it? A harvest for the great dedication that you have, your positivity, your teamwork, your, just being able to love from the heart. That's who you are. And I pray that you just continue to bless more people in the coming years. More awards to come, more recognition, but most of all, the greatest reward is being able to help more people. And to Joey and all the leaders of the team, God bless you. And I pray for more wisdom, more grace, more power, more passion in the coming years. God bless you.
So, are you ready?
Hi everyone, I'm gonna teach you how to use the GCash app to pay off your insurance policies. First, you need to download the GCash app, and if you don't have one yet, just use my QR code so we both get an incentive. And once you've downloaded the app, find the icon on your phone and tap on it to open. Type in your password. Tap on the upper left hand and link your account so that you can fund. I'm using BPI, so click on BPI and it'll tell you to get verified first. When you click on that, it'll give you an instruction on how to get verified. Assuming you already have a balance here on your GCash account, you're ready to now make payments on your insurance. So click on Pay Bills and click on Insurance. Scroll down to the very bottom to see Sun Life of Canada, Philippines. And when you click on that, it's gonna ask for how much you want to pay, and your account number will be your policy number and then email address. And on this page, I'll just make you confirm the details of your payment. So if everything is okay, just click confirm. That's how you pay off your insurance policies through GCash app.
Join us every Tuesday and Thursday at 5:30 p.m. via Zoom in
Matter of factly,
with Ray.
and Joey. Hi guys, I'm Joey. I'm here to show you how cool our Sun Life PH app is. If you're a policyholder, make sure you download this app so you can access your policy anytime, anywhere. So go to Google Play Store or App Store and search for Sun Life PH to download the app. Once done, open the app. Its icon looks like this. Click that and click My Account. Since you're new, you need to register first. Make sure you have your policy number ready. After registration, you should receive an activation email like this one. So just follow the instructions there. When everything is set, you're now ready to log in to your account. Once logged in, you'll be able to view your policy details. Like you may add here your photo or the nickname of your policy. And if you click the fund value, it would show you the current NAV pool of the different funds of Sun Life. Ours is usually 100% index, so you would see it's only at 1 peso and 9 cents, so it's perfect to buy and add some more. And when you navigate to service request, you can see the different services offered on the app, like filing a claim, updating your contact info, or mailing address. And lastly, the last icon will show you if you have some notifications. So that's it. I hope that this short tutorial has empowered you to have that sense of control over your own Sun Life policies. If you're my clients, I do have my own exclusive FB group for you. Feel free to join so that you can be updated from time to time on what's going on. Here are my contact details. Website is sunsyjoey.com. My FB personal account is joeymj, or facebook.com/jmjfamily. My two pages are Sunsy Joey and It's Time. And of course, my exclusive group for you entitled My Sun Life Valued Clients. So live brighter with Sun Life. It's time.
You've got to say no to temptation. I was reading the book of my friend Jesse Teaba this morning, and he was saying, we make excuses for giving in to temptation. When guys commit adultery, you know what they say? They say in Tagalog, paano ba naman kung ang palay na ang lumalapit sa manok? In English, when the rice goes near the chicken. Tama? That's right. But hey, manok ka ba? Are you a chicken? I could have said that as a married guy. I could have said that in the early years of my married life. Well, what can I do? Guapo. There are women who come and they're attracted to me. Well, what can I do? What can I do? I could have gone to the easy path, but I decided I'm going to obey God and I'm going to trust Him. That one day I'm going to have a harvest. I'm going to have a great harvest. Adultery, we laugh about it, but it creates so much pain in this world. Not only with the spouse that gets violated, but the children and the example that you give. And if there's some people here who have fallen into adultery, I speak God's forgiveness to you. You can start anew. You can change today.
Hi guys, I'm Joey and welcome to It's Time Library. I'm here to show you that there are super affordable life insurance that you can get for the entire family. In keeping up with our mission to achieve financial freedom for all Filipinos, Sun Life has teamed up with Lazada to offer affordable insurance for the entire family. Important note, this offer is exclusive to Lazada members only. When you log into Lazada, search for Sun Life and click on the Sun Life flagship store that would pop out among the choices. It'll then take you to Sun Life store where you can see all the products being offered. We have two categories, Life Armor and Family Armor. Life Armor is for single people who have no dependents yet. At 25,000 coverage, you can buy as much as 4 of these for a total of 100,000 coverage for yourself. For Family Armor, we can only have one of each variant, Family Armor 1, 2, 3, and 4. Life Armor is only 100 pesos for 25,000 coverage. Again, you can buy at most 4 so that your coverage can be as much as 100,000. Family Armor 1 is only 200 pesos and this is for the principal and his or her children up to 21 years old. Coverage is 50,000 for the principal and 12,500 each for the children. And yes, unlimited number of kids who are below 21 years old. Galing, no? Family Armor 2 is only 265 pesos and this is for the principal and his spouse and kids. Principal is covered for 50,000, spouse for 25,000, and kids for 12,500 each. Family Armor 3 is only 295 pesos and it's for principal and the parents. Principal is covered for 50,000 and parents for 25,000 each. Family Armor 4 is only 365 pesos and this is for principal, parents, and kids. Just like Family Armor 2, coverage is 50,000 for the principal, 25,000 each for the parents, and 12,500 each for the kids. For our family, we'll first get Family Armor 2. Now remember, it doesn't just give us death and dismemberment benefits, we also have accidental and medical reimbursements. The insured age bracket is from 18 years old to 64 years old, and kids are from 0 2 weeks to 21 years old. And again, this is only being offered exclusively to Lazada members. Please read all the conditions and exclusions before buying. Okay, let's proceed. Choose your armor and click buy. Check details and click place by order. You'll then be asked for the payment method. You may choose debit card, credit card, GCash, or your Lazada wallet. I'm using my GCash, so I click that and I'll take you to GCash payment, so just follow instructions. After completion, you'll get this message. Thank you for your purchase, blah, blah, blah. And we've sent a confirmation to your email address. So now, check your email. It'll look like this. Click activate, and now you'll be asked to fill out the form. First, your details, then your spouse details, and then your kids. Notice that for each member of the family, it's asking for a beneficiary. That's because everyone is insured. Yeah, for 265 pesos, we are insured for 50,000, 25,000, and 12,500 each for all our 5 kids. Yeah, grabe, diba? Here, you just need to check all the details if correct. Make sure you have your beneficiary's details correct too. Then hit confirm. Another confirmation here to let you know that it's a criminal act to lie. So if you're confident to have told the truth and nothing but the truth, then click next. Here you must read the terms and conditions. But if you're lazy or you simply trust Sun Life, then just scroll down to the very bottom, tick I agree, and click submit. Congratulations, your policy is activated. Now you have to check your email for the proof of coverage, which is all you would need to avail of the claims if ever. it looks like this. Okay, that's it. Now you see how easy and very affordable it is to protect your loved ones. I mean, what's 265? That's just one movie ticket or one box of donuts or an order in Starbucks. But if you spend it wisely, your whole family will benefit from it. The insurance offered in Lazada are all term insurance. We have other trad insurance and VUL products that you can get as well. Just ask your Sun Life financial advisor about them. If you want to ask me, here are my details. Website is sansijoey.com. My FB personal account is joeymj or facebook.com/jmjfamily. My 2 pages are Sansi Joey and It's Time. And of course, my exclusive group for my Sun Life valued clients. So, get insured. It's time.
I'm JJ.
I'm JM.
I'm Jack. I'm Jake.
And I'm Jamie.
And welcome to It's Time Wow!
Wisdom on Wednesdays.
Your weekly dose of wisdom.
So every Wednesday, we will invite wisdom-filled individuals to share with us their expertise, competence, and experience that will help us gain more success, knowledge, and wisdom.
So get your fill of wisdom every Wednesday. It's time. Hi, I'm Jamie.
Jenny, are you investing in the stock market?
Yes.
So you have stock market accounts?
Yes, I have COL and 2 Sun Life.
Wow, so you have 3?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how much that would be in the future?
It will be more than 50 million. Come to It's Time Stock Market and we will teach you everything. Stay there.
Canada Geese, God bless you. Congratulations. This is a great, what they call it, a harvest for the great dedication that you have, your positivity, your teamwork, your, just being able to love from the heart. That's who you are. And I pray that you just continue to bless more people in the coming years. More awards to come, more recognition, but most of all, the greatest reward is being able to help more people. And to Joey and all the leaders of the team, God bless you. And I pray for more wisdom, more grace, more power, more passion in the coming years. God bless you.
My name is JJ.
And I am Jam.
And I'm John. And I'm Jake.
And I'm Jamie.
And welcome to It's Time Energy.
Joey MJ and her husband are both graduates of law from St. Louis University in Baguio. The whole family is into public speaking, giving their signature talk. It's time.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my mom, Miss Joey Tayaman!
success everybody hopes to find. There's a key to the world, and it's mine, all mine. There's a world of opportunity filled with possibility and dreams that I'm gonna find. I got a millionaire mind. I say yes to success. I got a millionaire mind. I say yes to success. I've got a blueprint for the future, brand new design. I'm playing the money game, winning all the time. There's a world of opportunity filled with possibility and dreams that I'm going to find. I got a millionaire mind. I say yes, I say yes to success. I got a millionaire mind. I say yes to success. All that I can see, all that I can be, infinite.
All right. Hello, everyone. Where is... Hello, Mom. Can you hear us? Where is she? Hello, Mom. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Let's start. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Dear Lord, we thank you for this wonderful day. We thank you for this Zoom meeting. We thank you for all the participants. We pray that all this knowledge that we will learn today will be used for your good and for your greater glory. All of these we ask in Jesus Christ, our Lord. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. All right, good afternoon, everybody.
I'm Jesse.
I'm Joey.
I'm JJ.
am JM.
I'm Jack. I'm Jake.
And I'm Jamie.
And welcome to It's Time Wow.
Wisdom on Wednesday.
Your weekly dose of wisdom.
So, every Wednesday, we will invite wisdom-filled individuals to share with us their expertise and experience so that at least by the end of this lockdown, we will all be filled with wisdom.
I believe
Right, let
our
me-
mom has some words to share.
Yes, so can you see my screen, guys?
Yes, we can see your screen.
All right, so good morning, everyone. I'm so excited for today. It's a brand new month. It's the first day of July, and July is my favorite month of the year because it's my birthday month. And yeah, it's super early here in Chicago, and our special guest is also she's from another part of the USA. So we're very, very excited to share this talk with you. But before that, guys, let me just invite you to please take a photo of this QR code. If you have your Viber or your phone, if you have a QR scanner, please scan this code so that we can give a good feedback later or an honest feedback for her later. All right? So please take a moment to take a photo of this. Yan. I'm so excited for today, guys. You know why? Because our WOW program has evolved. We have been guesting big names, and yet these are the most humble people that you would see in the industry, and even in outside of the industry. I have guested even a basketball coach, Chot Reyes, and there's also Attorney Cabrera, as you have known. And the thing is, we have started this program to help out the Filipino people when we had a lockdown, right? I know that we are not frontliners, and it was actually very limiting for us to not be able to do something because we are not in the medical field. And then we thought, why not just share with them this learning, these opportunities to learn during this lockdown. And we did. And we started with these big names, and yet they are really so humble and full of values and of good moral character. And that's the reason why we have continued with this program, even if we're already in GCQ. And I'm very, very grateful that these big names in the industry have been very supportive of our program. They're really just giving their themselves, their knowledge, their time with us. So with that, we're truly grateful. So for today, I'd like JJ to start with the introduction of our speaker. Go ahead, Jay.
All right. Our guest speaker joined Gamma International 16 years ago, where she rose through the ranks to become Vice President for Corporate and Business Development. In this role, she oversaw all revenue departments at the association, including membership, LAMP, communications, and PMG corporate relations. Since her promotion to that position in 2012, Gamma has seen dramatic growth in membership, revenue, membership retention, and LAMP attendance. In June 2014, she took helm as Gamma's first and youngest female CEO. Before joining Gamma, she held political appointments under the administrations of Suffolk County, New York, Executive Robert J. Gaffney, New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani, and President George W. Bush. She is also founder of Bliss, LLC, a restaurant group based in New York City. In addition, she is a member of the American Society of Association Executive and the National Association of Professional Women. Born and raised on the South Shore of Long Island, she is a proud New York native. Having been bitten by the political bug at a young age, she attended American University in Washington, D.C., receiving a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science. Live from Washington, D.C.,
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Miss Bonnie Godsman.
yay!
Hi, Miss Bonnie. Good morning
Joey,
there.
Good morning to you as well, and good evening to all of our friends in the Philippines. That's spectacular. What a group you got there. Thank you so much. That's the best introduction I think I've ever had. Fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Bonnie. All right, so you're now a co-host, so you may now share your
Great.
screen.
Sure. So just before I begin, a couple of things. I hope everyone is happy and safe. And I'm going to do a little bit of a presentation here today, but I want to leave a bunch of time for some questions you all might have, either relevant to Gamma, leadership, life in general, what's going on over here in the US. As many of you know, I'm pretty much a transparent, open book, so feel free to ask me any questions you would want. Want to say happy anniversary to Gamma Philippines. I see President Susan Lee there on the screen. I can see Susan, you're actually right to the right of me there. Good morning or good evening to you. And Magda, I see you. I've got the whole crew here. It's fantastic. So wanted to say happy anniversary to Gamma Philippines. It's their 25th, and we couldn't be prouder to have Susan at the helm there. And we are so excited for the upcoming Gamma Day that you all will experience, as well as we're going to bring Lamp Asia virtual. So it's super exciting. And I think very specific to this call, a very happy anniversary, 125 years to Sun Life. That really is, yeah, congratulations. That's amazing. When we think about kind of the age of our countries and the age of our industry, that's really a profound just success. And it just makes me really proud to be a part of your lives the last couple of years, and then of course obviously moving forward here. So anyway, just wanted to start off with that. So as many of you know, I talk a lot about leadership, and I'm going to pull up my screen here, so if y'all can just bear with me a moment. I talk a lot about leadership, and normally we're dealing with a lot of managers and people that have the role of a leader by title. But I really want to emphasize today's talk is really about the leader who you are in the role that you're in, whether you're an advisor, whether you're support staff, whether you are a manager. We're really going to talk about, particularly during COVID and coming out of COVID, what it really takes to show up, to really show up as a member of a team, to show up as a leader for your clients, to show up as a leader for your family. There's a ton of pressure on leaders, particularly in this current moment. It's challenging. And unfortunately, several leaders make a lot of mistakes along the way. And so I want to talk about kind of two different forms of leaders. You know, COVID has really presented to a lot of industries and the world as a crisis. And I don't want to devalue, it is a crisis. We have people dying all over the world. I'm sure you all have seen the statistics, particularly here in the United States. It's a very unnerving and scary time. But the opportunity that we have to show up as leaders is one that we need to seize. People are looking for leaders in times of crisis. And folks, whether we like it or not, we sit in the opportunity to present a leadership perspective that can bring calm and ease and order to the chaos that a lot of our folks are currently going through. So COVID's taught us a couple of things. I think we really can see, and I hope a lot of you can kind of view it in your family, you can view it in your church, you can view it in your business. COVID has really exposed our weaknesses. And while that can make people feel like they're in a very vulnerable situation, it really gives us an opportunity to step back and reflect on what we need to work on. And it's okay to admit weakness. Weakness is part of life, it's part of the world. And it's something that as long as you approach it with an opportunity to get better, weakness can teach us a lot of great lessons along our journey. The other great thing I think that COVID has actually brought to the table is it has magnified our strengths. Some families have gotten stronger, and it's really shown up through COVID. Some businesses are seeing what an amazing team they have. Some individuals are seeing, wow, I've stretched myself beyond typical capabilities, and I really am stepping outside of my box. I'm growing in that opportunity here. So what I really want to talk about is having strength in different leadership behaviors. It's fine, right? We can say, I'm really an inspirational leader and I'm really good at that, or I'm really good at the business side of this, or I'm really good at data, or whatever it is. But really, when we are talking about times of crisis, it's important to make sure that we have strength in all of them. And that is really what is going to separate good leaders from great leaders. So I want to spend our time today talking about kind of two different leadership styles that I want all of you to go back and think about in your current role, whether that be an agent, an advisor, a manager in the business, whether you are the head of your household, whether you are supporting parents, whether you have kids, how are you really showing up in these two different opportunities as leaders? So we're going to talk about the tangible leader. Now, this really speaks to setting vision for your family, for your team. It really speaks to datas and scorecards. It speaks to having right people around you at the right times, really tangible things you need to do as a leader. And then we want to talk about the inspirational leader, right? Those are things that we talk about: authenticity, communication. Are you driving culture? We're going to talk about those things. And though they are not groundbreaking rocket science, I'm not here to tell you anything you don't already know. I thought it was really important to use our time today together to really talk about getting back to the fundamental basics. We get caught up in kind of the everyday life and what's happening, and we're moving so fast that if we don't take time to step back and really assess where we are in these 6 particular traits, then I think we would be doing a disservice to ourselves as leaders and the people we serve. So let's get into it. The tangible leader. So in this portion, I really want to talk about things that have to exist in your home, in your ethics, in your morals, in your business, to really make sure that you are structured in a tangible way. So you are prepared, so that as you're going along, there is structure and there is order to how you are working within the business, families, churches, whatever it would be. So we're going to spend some time. We're going to talk about, what does vision actually mean? And I don't mean vision the way you all would think about it. I mean, what actually is the vision and the communication path in which you are doing that? Then we're going to talk a bit about data. And here's what I'll tell you. I'm a great inspirational CEO, right? I love to motivate the team. What COVID exposed to me was that I am not a good CEO when it comes to data. And yeah, I know the basics and the fundamentals of the business and all of that kinds of things, but I want to talk and dig into what I mean when I say data and what that opportunity is for us. And then the third thing is the team structure. Are you sitting in the right seat? Do you have the team in the right seat? Do you have the right people around you in the right way? And so we're going to spend some time talking about that. So let's talk about vision. So when we all hear the word vision, everyone's thinking, oh, my vision statement, right? This is what my company is about. This is what my family is about. But here's what I want you to ask the team, ask your family members. Can you tell me in one sentence what our vision is? And if you find, and you will find, there's some statistic out there that, first of all, a lot of families don't have a vision statement for their family. And that actually causes a lot of disconnect. If you don't have a vision statement for your family, I would recommend that you sit down together and you talk about your family and you talk about, what are we about? What do we believe in? What holds us together? What's the glue? And if your family can get that vision statement together and they believe in that, that should be able to go back to the root of any challenges, conversations you would need to have, struggles. And quite frankly, when you celebrate the successes, you're on target with the vision. When it comes to your business and your team, you have to ask the team, is that clear? Does the team know what you as the leader is the vision that you're putting forth? And people really undervalue the concept of a vision. People think, oh, I've got a vision statement, I've got a mission statement, we've got company principles, company beliefs, but is the team really clear on what that actually means and how that connects? So I would challenge all of our folks that are on the call today, Could you, if I said we're gonna shut off Zoom right now, could you write down your vision statement? Could your team write down your vision statement? Could your family write down a vision statement? So let's make sure that when we're done today together, that we go back and look at the vision statement. And if you don't have one, priority number one is to get one. Because as we all know, in the midst of challenging times like we are in, vision is the only thing that is going to get us to the light. So let's make sure that we all together are responsible for that. Next thing I want to spend some time on is data. Now, people may think data like how many calls are you making today, or how many policies have we signed, or are we achieving what we want to achieve as the family? Are the kids doing well in school? I would challenge you to narrow down your family goals, your business goals into a couple of really measurable and tangible data points. And I know that most of you have a scorecard and you kind of check that off. But in times of crisis, and I can't speak for the Filipino community, but I can speak for the US community right now. In the US right now, 40% of Americans that make under 45,000 USD are currently out of work. That is an incredible data point for the United States. Out of all of the countries in the world, the United States not necessarily being, the largest, we have the most deaths of COVID. That to me is a data point that our country needs to be looking at, measuring, and utilizing as we navigate through this. So the great thing about data is data cuts out all of the egos. It cuts out personalities. There's no conversation around data. Data is or data isn't, right? So the conversation, we are required in this company to make 60 cold calls a day. Either you made 60 calls or you didn't make 60 calls. That's it, right? It cuts out ego. A lot of us, particularly in financial services in our business, we're measured on data. And knowing the right data and knowing the right scorecard through the COVID crisis is going to be critical. Your mission should change during COVID. The measurables that you do measure should change during COVID. There's a lot of considerations to take into fact. So I would challenge you as leaders, what are the data points that we are looking at from a business perspective? From a family perspective, I will tell you that the data points need to change as well. There may be pressures that you've always put on your children. There may be expectations you have of your parents, or maybe your parents have of you. The data that your family measures by must change during COVID. There is mental health to be taken into consideration. There is social well-being to be taken into consideration. I'm not sure what's going on in the Philippines, but over here in the US, every parent is suddenly a teacher. People are homeschooling. Kids are driving everyone crazy. Like in the US, you can't you can't go out and buy a bike because everyone's trying to buy all these outside toys for the kids, bouncy houses we have here, play sets, like you can't figure it out. So what makes your family successful, or maybe how you would, let's say, judge your kids? That data point as a family needs to change as well during COVID. So I think it's really important before we drive each other crazy that we really take a step back and look through what's the important data that we would change to be successful as a family as well. The other is the team structure. I will tell you that I have learned the hard way that people are your best and your absolute worst asset. And in times of crisis, they will show up and it will be right in your face about whether they are going to create an environment as a problem-solving ally, or they are just going to be that thorn in your side that drives you finally to the point where you say, that's it, we're done, you're fired, right? So really, as a leader, this is the opportunity to to really assess people that are around you, team members that you have, leaders that you are trying to develop. I would challenge everyone when we're done with this call, write down 2 columns. One column is your business. Who is on your team? Who are your top performers? Who are your colleagues that drive you the hardest? Then underneath that, I would say, who are the people that maybe have surprised you in not a positive way during this crisis? Who are the team members that are complaining? Who are the team members that are not contributing to solving problems? And, you know, I would say as a leader, nurture those folks and see if there is an opportunity to maybe get them into a positive path. You know, not everyone is going to react to the COVID crisis in a way that maybe we would. And I would encourage you as an advisor to really take stock in how you're showing up. Are you creating an environment that is problem solving? Are you becoming an asset to the organization? Are you stepping outside your box? You know, at this stage, I think we've been, you know, under lockdown long enough. Business has gotten to a, you know, the phrase we're using here is the new normal, if you will. And I think it is time to assess the team. It is time to see how people are dealing with the crisis. And it is time, you know, to really make some decisions around that structure. The other column I'd invite you to consider from a family perspective is during COVID, who have you gotten close to? You know, who has really shown up as a support to your family, to your children? Maybe it's been you to your parents. Maybe it's been you to friends in need. And I would then encourage you to write a list of folks who really haven't shown up. Maybe some of those folks who have disappointed you through this crisis. And I would not be so quick to judge those folks that have disappointed you. That would be my priority 1 call list. That would be the folks I would reach out to and say, hey, you know, we were super close before this and we've been on lockdown and just wanted to call and see how you're doing. You know, as leaders, we need to show up and surprise the folks that really maybe aren't expecting much from other humans at the moment. And I would really make that list your top priority. I know I have a couple of friends who I normally speak to all the time, and I made this list and I made that my priority number 1 call. And I reached out and I found out that folks were really struggling, that 1 phone call, that 1 card that I sent really made a difference in someone's life. You know, this is really throwing people off. And I think it's presenting people in an environment, quite frankly, that the world has never seen before. And so again, that team structure in business, that team structure in friends and family, take a step back to reanalyze. And, you know, your top key performers, tell them thanks, tell them it's been a phenomenal opportunity to go through this journey with them. And then the folks that, you know, maybe we're a little disconnected from, maybe we're a little disappointed in, reach out to them and see if there's an opportunity to kind of bring them along in this journey. So just you know, again, major leadership opportunity. So as I said earlier, that tangible leader, right? So we talk about vision, we talk about the data and the scorecard, and then we talk about the right structure. You know, all of those things I would say are critical leadership behaviors during this time. And then we get into what I think a lot of us on this call, I see a lot of fellow Gamma members on this call. And I got to tell you, the one thing I know, and especially speaking for Joey and for Magda and for Susan, we are great inspirational leaders. We've got that part down. But during COVID, again, like I said, our leadership style needs to shift a bit. So that tangible leader, we need to make sure that we've got that in a row. But let's talk about how the inspirational leader needs to shift a little bit. We're going to talk about authenticity and what that really means to show up as a leader. Next, I want to talk about communication and how that communication needs to shift from maybe how it normally works in our offices, in our homes, and how we can actually kind of reassess how that's going. And then you are, as the inspirational driver, and probably the most important role as a leader, you are the culture driver in every environment you walk into, whether it's a face-to-face meeting, whether it's a Zoom opportunity, whether it's sitting at dinner at the kitchen table. You show up as the cultural driver of the organization in which you're in. So let's talk about it a little bit. Authenticity is really difficult for some leaders. You know, transparency is difficult. It is really critical during COVID that authenticity shows up in a vulnerable way, right? So what does that mean? That means that as the leader, you need to acknowledge to teams, to colleagues, to family members that we're scared. You know, this time and this period of time in our world today, there is fear that is happening. People are fearful of their health. They are fearful of, will their business make it? They are fearful of, how will this affect my family? You know, we need to acknowledge that it's okay to be afraid. There is no roadmap. The world has never gone through a pandemic like this in modern day society, right? And so not everyone really knows what's happening. So as the leader, it's okay to tell the team, you know what, I'm going to need your help through this because I've never done this before either. You know, and I think that being vulnerable will encourage resolve, right? So like we were saying, people crave structure, like they crave vision, they crave leadership in times like this. But it really is important to be able to control what you can control and to bring the team, to bring colleagues, to bring your family along with that. So it's, hey kids, I know school is out right now, but I'm going to need you to help mom get us through this week of learning. Like, I'm going to need you to participate in this particular way, because if not, you're going to drive mom crazy. And if not, like, dad's just going to run out of the house and spend all his time outside doing, my husband is out the door mowing the lawn every opportunity he can. And I don't have any kids, right? So it's basically me driving him nuts. People are working from home. Kitchen tables are becoming offices, right? It really is being authentic and vulnerable to the moment to say, hey, I'm just trying to figure this out too. But we need to be careful because what we can't present is chaos, right? We can't present that we don't have control over the things that we can control. So really think through the authenticity that you can bring to the table that will actually bring a sense of ease and calm to the situation. So then let's talk about communication. Now, normally we as leaders, we as parents, we have standard communication that we always do with the team, whether it's a newsletter, whether it's sitting down, we have breakfast together or we recap our day at dinner, whatever that's going to be. Communication here needs to shift a little bit. As the leader, you need to give people a role. You need to give them and define for them a purpose within your organization. You need to tell your kids, your parents, your brother, your sister, I need you right now to show up like this, right? And so communication shifts from kind of just putting it out there and expecting responsibility to reside with who you're communicating to. Communication needs to shift during this kind of COVID crisis we're going through here to really be about defining for people what that communication role needs to be. So for example, if you are a manager and you have an advisor that's struggling, right? You need to sit them down and say, I'm gonna need you to show up in the organization because you're really good at X, whatever it's gonna be. Say you're really good at cold calling, or you're really good at, for some reason, like the way you can come across in a Zoom meeting is really spectacular. I'm gonna need you to train other members of the team on how to do that, right? So maybe that person needs a little extra role, a little extra purpose to kind of help them through this crisis. This is an opportunity for you to magnify the strengths of the team and to actually leverage what they're really good at. Translate that into some kind of communication plan for them, and it will give them purpose. For the kids and family members, you know, maybe it's to your son or your daughter, you're a really great helper when I prepare for dinner. Like, if you could help me this entire week prepare for dinner, like, that would really be great for me, right? You're giving them a role, you're giving them a purpose. Or, you know, hey, husband, this is my conversation, right? So, hey, Mike, I have to get up at 4:30 tomorrow morning because I'm doing this call with the Philippines. Like, I'm going to need you to make sure that the dog doesn't bother me during that time. Like, simple and easy. But if I didn't communicate that with Mike, I would be putting you guys on pause right now because my dog would be crying outside of my home office here, needing to go out, right? It may seem simple, but during times of crisis, communication is so important. And I think we would all agree we're in close quarters, you know. If you're living in a city somewhere, if you are in a 1-bedroom apartment, a 2-bedroom apartment, like, sometimes I got to tell you, like, I'm in a home, and I got to tell you that home got real small, real quick, right? And so I think it is really important that we are finding ways to communicate that give people a specific role and purpose that can help each other out. And I would also encourage you to ask your kids, like, how can mom help you? How can dad help you better? Like, is there something that I can be doing better to help you through this process? I think having communications with your spouse, your significant other, you know, is more critical than ever at this point. I saw a statistic that is not fun, that the divorce rate in China is up an additional 20% from where it normally is. And as we all know, you know, a lot of the breakdown in families, businesses, from leaders is lack of communication. So I would encourage you all to just think through how that communication looks. And then probably the most important is really when we talk about culture. You as the leader, you have no choice. You are driving the culture. And most of you, if you are a leader, if you are a parent, if you are a caregiver to anyone, you know that you probably are driving the culture that creates within that environment. So from a business perspective, just some insight that I've had an opportunity to do during COVID is, you know, this is the best excuse to fail forward ever, right? This is the time that when we talk about culture, we need to emphasize innovation. This is the time we need to experiment. If there was an idea you had as a leader and you were kind of hesitant, or maybe there was a big idea you had that was on your back burner, this is the time to move that to the front burner. This is the time to get bold. People are looking for things that look and feel and sound and smell different, right? I mean, look what we're doing right now, right? Your Wow Wednesdays. That may have been something that you would never have been bold enough to do. Am I good enough to share my ideas? Do I know enough interesting people to hold a Zoom webinar every week, right, Joey? Like, I'm sure you were really debating whether or not maybe I should do this. Would it take off? What would people think, right? But look, here we are. We're on Facebook together. Hey, Bonnie, would you mind doing a what? I would love to do it. Like, of course, right? You have great friends. You have great opportunities and connections that, you know, really can kind of share their thoughts during this. And quite frankly, I don't think anybody's smarter than anybody or a bigger influence than any other. Like, we're all just trying to get through it, right? We're all just trying to do our best through this. And this is the way you're showing up to give back. And I think that when you create a culture where you are trying new things, you are encouraging the team to experiment, I think that that will be wildly successful. When you talk about your home, I'm sure a lot of you have gotten very creative over the last couple of months, you know, and What will you continue? You know, somebody said a great quote that was going around Facebook, and it said, everyone's so quick to get back to what life was. You know, we as culture drivers need to evaluate what's actually worth getting back to, right? What is the culture that was? What is the culture that is? And as we emerge through this, like, what's worth keeping and what's worth killing, right? And that's kind of what I do an experiment with my team all the time when we talk about benefits for Gamma, and we talk about, you know, what are really the opportunities that we have to present. And I say, well, do we want to keep it? Do we want to kill it? Or do we want to combine it with something else, right? And so as we think as leaders about our culture, I know at Gamma, we've been working from home since March. Many of you were ready to come to the United States for LAMP USA, and you all know we had to cancel that. And while we were very sad about that, we had a major turnout from our friends in the Philippines for our LAMP Live, right? That was an opportunity for us to shift, right? We had to pivot, we had to be innovative, we had to reinvent. And I think that in this day and age, you know, from my perspective, I was like, oh my gosh, we're canceling LAMP, you know, 10 days before we were supposed to all be together. Can we do something virtual? Can we pull it off? In the US, a lot of organizations were just canceling, and they were saying, see you next year. You know, Gamma being a leadership organization, driving, you know, culture within the financial services industry, we were saying, could we be innovative? Could we be bold? Maybe it wasn't the best experience, but we wanted to make sure we were giving back to our members, and we were sharing with all the hard preparation and all of the preparedness that everyone had put together. Could we share it, right? And so this really is the time to get really comfortable with being uncomfortable. So I would encourage you all as leaders, as culture drivers, you know, what are new things you can try out? What are new things you can experiment with? And if you've been hesitant to do that, this is a great environment. And then I say, if it doesn't work, you just blame it on COVID, right? And you say, oh, well, it didn't work. We tried it. Why not, right? But I guarantee you, and I know a lot of people on this call, these are successful, innovative people. And I would be hard pressed to believe that if any of you tried anything, that it would not be successful, or that it wouldn't net out to be a positive experience that you all, you know, could really learn from. So, you know, it's Winston Churchill once said, never waste a good crisis. And so I think this really is the opportunity that has been presented to us. I do have a strong faith belief that, you know, maybe this was an opportunity for some of us to level set our leadership style, for us to level set connectivity to friends and family. You know, sometimes the good Lord works in mysterious ways. And I know it has absolutely afforded me an opportunity to take a really hard look at my business, my colleagues, my family, and most importantly, the relationships that I have built through the years. And it has really given me an opportunity to grow as a leader. So again, that tangible leader, I would challenge everyone to think about your vision, think about the data that you're really kind of boiling your organization and boiling your family down to. Think about structure and the people that sit in those seats and who's around you. Think about authenticity and how are you being vulnerable to the situation. Think about your communication style and how that must shift during this crisis. And then finally, really the culture that is you are actually creating minute by minute as we are getting ready to kind of open up and emerge in this brave new world. So those are my thoughts here early in the morning. I hope that has given you guys some things to at least think about as you know, we move into some new times ahead. But happy to answer some questions, give you some perspective, and like I said, everything's on the table. So feel free to ask away, and I really appreciate everyone's time that they have given me this evening, I should say, to all of our friends in the Philippines, and this morning to some of you that are all over the world.
All right. Thank you so much, Miss Bonnie. That was really a great talk again. So we're very, very grateful for that. And I think we have to, first I'd like to acknowledge the branch managers inside the room. But first, let me ask you once again to just take a photo of this code so that we can give an honest feedback about the talk, so that I can share it with Miss Bonnie later. All right. So just take a moment to scan this. All right. And I see, I hope that the BM Magda will help me, as I don't know all the BMs, but I see BM Susan Lee, of course, BM Magda, BM Bell, and I think I saw BM Venus here a while ago. So, and I see also BM Yogi. All right, so I'd like to thank you once again, guys, for tuning in and being inside Zoom. We are also live on our exclusive Facebook group, the Genesis 100, which is a club of Sun Life advisors, by Sun Life advisors, and for Sun Life advisors. And we have over almost 4,000 members inside the room. If you're not a member yet, please ask your advisors to go in, because that's where we share our best practices, our materials. And I'm sure Miss Bonnie here, she said that she's gonna share her slides as well with us. So that's where I'm gonna upload the files. So if you want to engage, please raise your hand so that JJ can unmute you. But of course, I'd like to ask first BM Susan Lee, because she's the Gamma president right now in Philippines. Let's hear it from BM Susan. Hi. BM Susan.
Okay.
There you go.
Hi.
There you go.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Bonnie.
Hi, Susan.
So you are an epitome of a servant leader, because this early 5 a.m. you look so good.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
No, you should see my hair. We
It's
have in the
okay.
US no hair salons open, no nail salons open. Like but thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So your talk is so good and so timely for what's happening globally. So I have one question to ask. How did you manage to take care of all the leaders, the chapters, the Gamma chapters globally?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
yeah.
So I will tell you one thing that I have loved during COVID is, and for those of you that aren't aware, we have 9 chapters all over the world. And we typically meet face-to-face at LAMP. We may have a call, once or twice a year. And then obviously our headquarters staffs are talking to each other all the time. But during COVID, I thought it was really important that we were connecting. I know that in the US, things like membership, awards, how much we're charging for membership. I know money's a big conversation, and I know Susan really took a leadership role in making sure that we were connecting on the regular. So Zoom, quite frankly, I think is one of the heroes that has emerged. We've been talking to each other every month, and we've been able to talk through issues like, hey, what are we going to do with Lamp Asia? Are we going to do a virtual Gamma Day? I really do think that it's really important that I know for me that we are as supportive as we can be. And I'm going to tell you, folks in the Philippines, your board of directors drives a hard bargain, because Susan was a great advocate for Bonnie. We need to do this with dues. We need to think about this for Lamp Asia. Really showing up as a leader to make sure that all of all of our folks are taken care of. So I would say, Susan, just the connectivity, right? When we talk about the communication style of the leader needed to shift. It absolutely shifted. I mean, we've always been very close. You know, in the Philippines, you know, has my heart. And I say, I don't ever ask the Philippines, like, I hope everyone is happy and healthy, because I know everyone's happy. I know that, like, it's the best place on earth as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, really, I think the biggest thing is the communication shift that I talked about earlier, and how it really, I mean, I can't really foresee us not going back to the old culture that we had with the chapters. This is a totally new culture. It gets me up earlier and later 9 times a month, but that's okay.
Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you.
Thank you, BM Susan. And now I think there's a BM Winda. Hi, BM Winda. I think you can already unmute yourself. BM Winda Gonzalez. Jay?
Yes.
Hi there. Hi, BM.
Hi. Noon. Nice to learn so many things, especially during this pandemic. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
I thought BM Magda said that you have a question, but thanks, BM. Can we hear from BM Julie? By the way, guys, I'm just prioritizing our BMs because I'm just so grateful that they're always tuning in and supporting our show, asking their advisors to tune in as well, because I know this is we're really learning a lot every Wednesday from this guest that we have.
Joey, I want to comment first.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to take this opportunity to thank you, Bonnie, for giving really a very big discount, huge discount of all the educational courses that we offer in Gamma. If without those discounts, we cannot give you the best rate, because right now we really have the price go down to maybe shut down to 70% off. So most especially the ELM, the AAL. So I just want to take this opportunity to really thank you, Bonnie, for giving this kind of huge discount, no, so that we can reach out so many leaders to learn during this pandemic or ECQ. While they're at home, they learn something. So we have already been promoting this AAL and ELM, so that we have already give them the schedule also for the next 4 or 6 months, so that we can have as many leaders to be better.
Yeah, Susan, you know, it's my pleasure to do it. And, you know, I think in this time, again, right, leadership has to show up in a really particular way. And so for those of you on the call that are not aware, we are the only organization that gives a designation for leadership. And so if you take the ELM and the AAL, you will have the GLMP, which is the Global Leadership and Management Professional designation. And you also will be an alumni of the American College. The American College actually issues the designation. So if you have a CFP or CHLU or any of those, GLMP is the only leadership and management designation. So I would encourage all of you to get on that journey for that designation, because that is going to become the new global standard for leadership. So happy to help our friends in the Philippines.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, BM. All right, so now may we hear from BM Julie? BM Julie or BM Gloria? I'm just reading off here what BM Magda is sending me. If you guys want to just unmute yourselves, I think you can already to engage with Miss Bonnie. It's just that your talk, Miss Bonnie, is very clear. I know that's the reason why probably there are no questions. But let's just engage. Let's just engage. I like it when you mentioned about the authenticity of leaders. As you know, as leaders, we are supposed to be strong, be brave like the Wonder Woman or the Superman.
Yep.
And yet we're all victims here. I mean, at this time, I mean, it's everyone is affected. So I like it when you said that it's okay to be vulnerable and just be honest. Just like what happened with you. I was chatting with you. I know that you had like a difficult time as well. And
Yeah.
I thought, oh my gosh, I don't see that on her Facebook. So it must be like really hard for you. And I prayed for you. And even I myself, I understood how being a leader is. I mean, it's not really that easy. We have to like remain strong, even though we personally were having our own crisis as well, right? So yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for telling us that it's okay to be vulnerable, and that
Absolutely.
yeah, it's a time
And
for everyone to be just honest with their feelings.
yeah, over here at Gamma, headquarters have been closed. And for those of you that are not familiar with how it works here in the US, the state governors get to determine whether you wear a mask, don't wear a mask, whether restaurants are open, not open, right? So President Trump, unfortunately, during this time, like doesn't really have control over all the states. And so because of that, our headquarters, as you guys know, are in Washington, DC. And so my entire team's like, hey boss, like, can we go back into the office? Like, when are we going to be able to go back into the office? And I'm like, when we're allowed to, right? And so people are asking and asking, and you're the leader, so you're supposed to have the answer. And so finally, I had to be really honest with the team, and I was like, guys, you need to give me a break. Like, I don't know the answer. Like, you'll know as soon as I know, and I don't know yet. So I'm not lying to you. There isn't some agenda. But what I can tell you all is I will give you enough time to get yourselves ready, to make sure the kids are taken care of, to make sure you're back in the DC area. So I'm controlling what I can control, right? Which is when offices do open, I promise the team I will have a re-entry plan in place that will give everyone. So I'm not going to call you on Friday and say, be back in the office Monday, right? So as the leader, but I did need to tell them, back up team. Like, I don't know the answer here. Like, I'm sorry, but I can't help you right now. But here's what I can do for you. And I think that sometimes you just need to say, I don't know, or I need your help on this. Told the team, I need you guys to back off. Like, I can't help you right now. And that's hard, right? Because as leaders, we always have the answers. The team always looks to us, and we always can tell them what's going to happen next. And to say, I don't know, that is hard for a lot of people.
Yeah. Okay, so we have BM Winda. She has a question for you.
Great.
BM Winda, you can unmute yourself.
Ooh.
JJ, can you please? There you go.
There you go.
My question is, how will you handle somebody, a leader, who is in denial of the present situation?
Yeah, it's interesting because we definitely have a couple of those leaders among us for sure. So a couple of things, right? And here's how I'll tell you how to get at the heart of it. So when I talked about kind of the vision, the data, and the right seats, the first thing I would do is I would ask them, hey, can you put together a plan for me of how we're going to track the business through the current situation? Or can you do a report of, historically the last 3 months, what does that look like? Can you write down for me, what's your communication plan for the team? I would actually, remember I talked about giving the person a role.
Mm-hmm.
I would give that leader a role that would actually make them discover for themselves. It will reveal itself by telling them, hey, I need your data scorecard. Hey, what's your new communication plan? Hey, what are you seeing a shift in the culture? Like, it will reveal itself to them that you actually will have a roadmap to sit down with them and say, hey, look, I know you've been struggling with this. I know you think things aren't going to change, but hey, let's look at where business was before, and let's look at statistically where business is now. Let's look at how you communicated before, and let's look at how, obviously, if the team isn't performing, then what are we going to change? So I actually would put it back onto the leader to do some self-discovery. And, we have a couple of folks, to your point, that are in total denial about this whole thing. And it's our job to try and pull them along in the process, right? So I would give them the role to accomplish those kinds of things that will reveal itself. And unfortunately, if it doesn't, then it is a culture conversation, right? Then it is a, hey, everyone's on board, everyone's done this, everyone's doing this. And to be very authentic with you, I had to have a conversation with a team member yesterday, and I said, I need to ask you, like, are you on board with this new initiative? Because I'm seeing this. I was even pointing out emails that, this person had sent that indicated they weren't grasping or embracing new language, new communication, new messaging. So that's what I would say, like, really important. If you have a leader that's not performing right now, give them a role and have them show up, and you'll be amazed. They'll either really struggle with it and it'll reveal itself to them that they need to change, or they'll actually not even realize how much they may have changed from how business used to be and how they used to be doing things. So I think that really that's the fastest way, I would say, to get them. And I'd give them I'd be like, I need like 72-hour turnaround on this. Like, make them sit and do it. Yeah.
All right, thank you. And now let's call on BM Gloria. Hi, BM.
Oh, there she is.
Hi, hello, Bonnie.
Hi, Gloria.
Yeah,
hi, how are you?
Hi, we're glad to see you.
Good to
I
see
really
you.
don't have any question, that I would like to commend Gamma for all the, educational thing that you guys promote, and all the help that you guys have been doing for the managers and also for the advisors. From the bottom of my heart and in behalf of my branch, I'd like to thank you, Bonnie, for always supporting, of course, our president right now in the Philippines, Miss Susan Lee. So we look forward for all the other seminars or webinars that Gamma will be hosting. Thank you, guys. You are all great. Yeah, take care.
Thank you, Gloria. Thank you for your.
Thank you, Glo. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for
May
your
I
leadership.
comment? Gloria Kao is one of our supporter for our Gamma courses and programs. Thank you,
Great.
Glo.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Susan, for that.
Thank you.
Thank you, BM Gloria. Now
Thank
let's
you.
hear from BM Vito of Ivy Branch. IBM, are you there? I can't
Nasaan na
unmute
si
him.
Vito?
Ayan, Vito.
There,
Vito is coming.
yan.
Yeah.
I can't, ayan.
There you are.
You're muted. JJ, can you please unmute him?
Sure thing.
BM, I think you can unmute yourself.
Okay.
There you go.
There.
Good afternoon. Good morning, Bunny.
Hi, Vito.
I was not expecting that I'll be called. Anyway, here's my question. You were saying a while ago about the structure. The people are your sometimes best or worst asset of your organization, right?
Yes.
And if there is someone whom you believe is no longer an asset to your organization, when is the best time to let go of the person?
Great question. So here's what I'll tell you. And this is just a way to check yourself to make sure that the person really should go, right? So if you have guiding principles for your organization, you measure them with a plus, a minus, or a plus/minus. So for example, at Gamma, we say results driven is a huge indicator for us, right? So if someone is getting results, they'll get a positive. If someone's doing okay, they'll get a positive/negative. And if they're not driving results, it's a negative. Our second kind of core value is, are they a problem solver, right? So are they a problem solver? Yes, positive, positive, negative, negative. So if you can actually square up with your organization 5 or 6 tangible values of the organization and give that person a plus, minus, a minus. If they have more than 1 minus, it is an indicator that you have a problem and that person probably is either not a performer, is not a cultural fit, and in the worst case is a cancer for your organization. And I have made the mistake in my leadership journey of holding on to people too long, right? We make excuses for them, and sometimes you really like the person, right? And you just feel bad. But I will tell you, you are doing a disservice to yourself as a leader, to your organization as a whole, and to actually that individual person by keeping them on longer than necessary. And so I think you need to have a very courageous conversation with that person as soon as possible. And you need to say, this just isn't your calling, or we are not the right fit for you. And, you know, you have great strengths, and they need to go be strong and they need to shine in a different environment. I say all the time, you can be the best shoe salesman in the world, but if I'm not selling shoes or I'm no longer selling shoes, like you're just not the right fit for what my organization needs. And so trust me, I know it never feels good. It never feels good. But the sooner, the better. And I know that COVID is difficult because you don't want to, you know, fire people or lay people off or part ways in the middle of a crisis, especially when you're talking about people's livelihoods. But I would say if there is a way to be generous in the process, whether that's maintaining healthcare, whether that's giving them maybe a little bit of a severance, you know, good leaders will show up as gracious in times like this, but don't mistake being kind for being weak or for not holding the organization accountable. Like you need to have that conversation and move on with that person. I would say just do it with care, and part ways.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, BM Vito. May we call on, I see here BM Ray and BM Jo Rivera. Oh, it's the first time that I saw BM Jo Rivera here. Hi, BM Jo, would you like to say something? You may unmute yourselves, guys.
Hello, Mom. Hello.
Hi, yes, JJ.
BM Rivera is quite busy right now, so she can't be contacted.
Okay. Do we have questions on Facebook, Jay? Because I can see Facebook right now. And for those of you who would like to engage here, please raise your hand so that we could just unmute you, or you can unmute yourselves. All right, guys. Anything else, guys? What time is it here? It's already 5 o'clock in the morning. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. What time is it there in Washington?
It's 6 o'clock, so we're an hour. Yep.
Okay. All right. So it's earlier here. Anyways, JJ, do you see any questions inside our group on Facebook?
No, we don't have any questions on Facebook.
All right. So that's probably it. BM Susan, would you like to say something before we end?
Yeah, commercial break first. Yeah, Bonnie, I'm so happy to Bordes to report to you that maybe I can reach the number of Gamma members that I promise you. Yeah.
Yay!
Yes, yes. And also, for so many years, because we are celebrating our 25th year, this is the first in the history of Gamma that we are giving no free. I mean, we are having a free convention fee for just for this year, due to because we want to pay it back or forward to all the leaders who really support our program year after year. So I'll be taking this opportunity to shout out to all my board member to thank you for allowing me this suggestion of mine to really give the members a free convention fee. Yeah, you will really happy to what we are doing right now, and also becoming a member, you can also go into the Gamma Hub of US now, which was done by themselves, Bonnie and the team. The Gamma Hub is thousands of material that you can learn from them. So, may I also ask all the member of Gamma to really support the convention day. We have a lineup of good speakers. Maybe by now we have already counted about 11 or 12 or 13 speakers that you really can learn from it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and the Susan and I would say I think the lineup you guys have put together is fantastic, and we are working diligently on our end to confirm all of the U.S. speakers, and so we are super excited to announce that, and then also be on the lookout. We are going to have a virtual Lamp Asia. We will have an event for all the award winners. We are going to have some special private opportunities for our friends from the Gamma Philippines chapter. So bunch of surprises, and though we all can't be face to face, and I will miss all of you dearly because it's absolutely my favorite trip of the year to come see you all. And I'm sad that we do that this year, but we will be together. And it's important to see. Yeah, absolutely. So thank you.
Thank you. Joey, thank you for organizing this talk. And you really you really have some talks about leaders last 2 weeks ago, a week ago. It's so fun. It's fantastic. Thank you, Joey.
Thank
you, Joey, for having me and inviting me, and congratulations to you and your family for pulling this off. It's been remarkable to watch. So thank you so much. It's been my honor to join you this evening.
It's an honor for us as well. But first, before we end, I'd like to call on BM Magda. I know that she doesn't want to talk, but Mother, please, just say hi.
Nice to see you. Thank you very much. Just today we have our board meeting and we talk about lots of things for the Gamma board, Gamma members. And thank you for the a lot of things to I've learned. I have to check it out who are the assets and who are the liabilities in my team. Really, it's hard for us to during this pandemic time. It's really hard for us also to do termination or whatever. But at the end of the day, relationship. We have to build again our relationship. Check out our relationship. Thank you very much. Really, we get something. I wrote up something notes for us to learn also. Thank you very much, Bonnie. It's nice to see you again. And thank you for the Sun Lifers and also board members. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Joey, for the wow. Thank you very much. It's really wow.
Yes, Mother BM Magda. She has always been very, very supportive of me. And personally, and I think this is what Miss Mani was saying. As a leader, you don't just what do you call this? It's not just about the work. it's also about personal relationships, especially at this time when we can't just be thinking about production. We have to take care of each other because everyone is really affected. Everyone is going through their own personal crisis. Some of my team, actually, a lot of my friends have lost loved ones. Actually, from my team, a father just, a father of my advisor just passed away. It was, it's heartbreaking at this moment. And as leaders, we have to show strength. And at the same time, we have to be honest enough to be vulnerable and admit that we can't do it alone. We have to have them help us do this together as a team. So thank you, Miss Bonnie, for that reminders. Thank you for whatever you have shared, your time, talent, treasure. I know that you are also going through, personal stuff, but thank you. That's one heck of a leader that you have shown today, being here with us. I know it's very early here in the US, but thank you again, once again, from the bottom of our hearts.
No
We
problem.
love
It's
you.
my honor. All right. Love you guys too. And I hope to see you all in person soon. Fingers crossed. Everyone stay healthy. Stay
Thank you,
healthy. All right.
Bonnie. Stay
Bye, guys.
safe.
4-5.
Take
Bye
care.
bye.
Stay safe.
Take
Love
care, all
you.
BMs.
Thank you, Joey.
Thank you, Winda.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm JJ.
Thank you, Joey.
I'm Jack. I'm Jake.
And I'm Jamie.
And welcome to It's Time Wow,
Wisdom on Wednesdays.
your weekly dose of wisdom.
So every Wednesday, we will invite wisdom-filled individuals to share with us their expertise, competence, and experience that will help us gain more success, knowledge, and wisdom. So get your fill of wisdom every Wednesday. It's time.
I'm JJ.
I'm Dan.
I'm Jack. I'm Jake.
And I'm Jamie.
And welcome to It's Time Wow,
Wisdom on Wednesdays.
your weekly dose of wisdom.
So every Wednesday, we will invite wisdom-filled individuals to share with us their expertise, competence, and experience that will help us gain more success, knowledge, and wisdom. So get your fill of wisdom every Wednesday. It's time.